Hey there, toy collector friends and Transformers fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector, and this is the Studio Series 86 number 17 entry into the Transformers Studio Series, the movie subline, and it's Ironhide, presented how he appeared in the animated movie back from 1986. Not the first time we've seen Ironhide. He has already been released as part of a 2-pack where he had been viciously assaulted on the deck of the Ark, showing his his substantial injuries. This version of Ironhide, which is set earlier in the range, is pre-damage and does have a couple of design differences that are arguably rectified in that battle-damaged Ironhide version. Anyway, before we get a close-up look at this figure, I'd just like to, again, thank you for joining me for this, and ask you if you wouldn't mind just to drop a like to the video, and of course, the all-important, could you please drop a subscription to the channel. It doesn't cost anything, and it really, really helps small channels such as myself. And there's no obligation. You don't have to join a Patreon. You don't have to pay to join special extra features on the channel. It just helps me reach my next subscriber milestone. Anyway, I'd really appreciate it. And if you do it, drop a comment in the comments below, and I will leave you a personal message of thanks, which is probably worth absolutely nothing to you, but I'm more than happy to do it just to show you that I meant it when I said I'd be really grateful. Anyway, back to the task in hand, and the task in hand is Studio Series 86, Ironhide. Now, Ironhide is a Voyager class figure in the current iteration of classifications. He comes with all the posability you would expect of a Voyager class Transformer, particularly a Studio Series Transformer. He's got ankle, working our way up, ankle tilt. He's got knee bend, rotation in the thigh, hips in all directions, although he's got that annoying sort of flap here, skirt flap thing here, which gets a little bit in the way. It would be nice if this was segmented like some of the other figures have been. We have the shoulders and the elbows and the biceps and the wrists and the head. So everything you could possibly want. We also have transparent plastic taking up a large portion of this figure, and I note this because on some, and it's a real sort of Marmite sticking point, isn't it? Because we also have it throughout the legs and the cunning leg transformations there in those panels, which is excellent engineering, don't get me wrong, but these panels are a bit of a cause for concern because they're very fragile and very, very easy to snap and break during transformations, etc. And as we've already seen, Hasbro and Takara Tomy have replaced, in reissues of the Studio Series figures for whatever purpose, as I say, the battle damage versions, etc., these panels being replaced with more cartoon accurate colour shading. So I'm not too sure why that isn't the standard and we're still seeing that. Does it bother me? It doesn't really bother me because I tend to be quite careful when I'm transforming. Not that I'm saying that's the get out of jail free card, because you can be careful as you like, but if something has to tab in and it doesn't like it, it will stress, it will crack, it can snap. So with the best will in the world, that's still a problem. I think we can zoom in a little bit more to take a look at the old Ironhide facial sculpt there. It's a lot less mournful than when he's been shot in the other 2-pack, but it's a nice face sculpt. It's a nice representation of the Ironhide we know and love from the series. We can see there's some scratches already on that there. They're not very noticeable when you're posing or displaying, but they're noticeable when you go that close. But so that's a shame. There's some nice detailing in the joint here of the arms. I like that, so it's not just a nasty cut. Not replicated in the feet, unfortunately. But you know, it's nice that it's there where it is there. We do have waist articulation, but overall this is a very nice, very sturdy, I'll pull back out again so it's not too extreme, figure. Not a lot of hollow elements, if indeed any. I'm just trying to see where there are some. A little bit of waffling on the inside of the leg, but it's so minimal you'd never really see it. Minimal backpack. You know, there's not really anything there to cause concern. And the legs are well filled in, and those panels sort of take care of any additional kibble. And the paneling is all very neatly tucked away. I really like this figure. I never had Ironhide. I'm just going to adjust the camera slightly again. There we go. I never had Ironhide growing up. And I know it was one of the more contentious of the figures because it was more of the sort of mech suit type, a bit like Ratchet, well, identical to Ratchet. So it was more for the sort of minifigures that came with that particular range that predated the Transformers being created as a toy range. So what's really nice is that now we are getting what our imaginations were calling out for back in the 1980s. A much more posable, a much more viable, and a much more recognisable version of the character we grew to know and love through the comics and through the cartoon, and of course through the movie itself. As with any Studio Series 86, we get a backdrop, and this time around is no exception. And as you can see from the backdrop, we are here on the Ark. On the Autobot shuttle, zooming away to Autobot City to collect some more Energon. And some people like them, some people berate them. I think it's a nice add-in. I think it's a nice addition to the set. You know, not everyone has somewhere to display them. But you know, it's a nice touch. It's something they don't have to do, but they do it. So I for one, am quite grateful of it, and aspire to one day having somewhere where I can actually put it. Anyway, for the here and the now, this is Ironhide in his robot mode. I like the figure. I rate the figure. I rate the articulation. I do wish we didn't... I think for continuity, I don't know why Hasbro are messing with the plastic, the translucent plastic, because either give us translucent plastic consistently but make it strong enough to withstand, or don't. And a prime example, which we'll look at in the near future, is Ratchet, who came out after his injured version, and they retrospective, if I remember rightly, maybe I'm making that up now. My mind is wavering, but I'm pretty sure we got a version of one of the figures that was released as a battle damaged, that came out before its actual figure, and the other version of it was we could see it already been upgraded with the plastic being replaced as toon accurate plastic. I'm curious to know your thoughts, because again, I might be having a false memory there, so apologies. Don't rant at me in the comments. It's been a day, so apologies for that. But I am curious to know your thinking. Do you prefer the toon accurate plastic, or do you prefer the translucent plastic? And do you mind that there's a bit of an inconsistency when it comes to the actual figures themselves now? Because in the Studio Series 86 range, there is of course now a bit of inconsistency. But yeah, so this is Ironhide in his robot form. We have seen him in his van form already in the twin pack, battle damage twin pack. But for the sake of completeness, I will quickly transform him with these translucent plastic elements and come right back to you with how that went, whether it was easy, straightforward, nightmarish, or just plain fun. Don't move, don't touch that dial. Okay, so here we have Ironhide transformed into his van mode, and again, the transformation, we've seen it before. Ratchet and battle damaged Ironhide both follow this. They all follow the same basic transformation situation. However, on this version, I have been immensely frustrated by this section here. Now again, it could be because of these plastic tabs, but I don't want to use, and I shouldn't have to use, any kind of undue force to complete the transformation, but then everything starts to come untabbed the minute you try. And then it untabs here, it untabs at the back here, this starts to untab for no apparent reason. It could be something that I've done, but it's hugely frustrating. See, it's fine there. You can try and tap that into these two respective elements here. Yeah, everything just doesn't hold together at all. And then this bit here, which is the worst bit, really doesn't hold together. It really doesn't, which is a shame considering how clever. And then that's started to come apart, and you know, I can open that forwards. That can tab together, and I bring this in to here, and then suddenly nothing wants to play. And because it's that sort of plastic, that translucent plastic, I really don't want to force it because I can just see it snapping, and that's just going to make me really cross. The wheels are freewheeling, so you don't get any kind of obstruction. There's a little bit of drop down there with the hips, but they don't cause any obstruction, as I say. That is frustrating because it's just not close enough for me to be able to forgive it, you know. And then anything I do starts to dislodge everything else, which is super frustrating. We can see all of the translucent plastic that is at large throughout the van. Again, is it a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I think it's a real shame we don't get anything on the back, which of course we do. We could do if it was all toon accurate. And again, the back is broken because I'm trying to force the front, and I go round and round. I honestly think that the battle damaged version of Ironhide is better. It holds together better, and I'm more comfortable handling it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's robust. You don't get a sense it's breakable. You can attach his blasters as twin exhaust under there. He does have these rather obvious preps for ratchet on the top there, but all in all, it's a solid transformation, and it's a solid van mode. It's just this section here that's a bit on the frustrating side. And yeah, it's very disappointing. We do get some lovely detailing here on the front, the Autobot symbol, the windscreen wipers, etc. There should be like a yellow stripe that runs along the side. For some reason, again, Studio Series 86, the core version doesn't have this. Not core as in core scale, this version. The battle damage version did have it. So I don't know what that's about. But again, in terms of my final thoughts for this vehicle and for this figure in general, I do really like it overall. Again, if I invest a bit more time, there might be something I've not sort of pushed together quite enough to give Ironhide the proper friction he needs to hold together. But again, you can even see there the little blue clasps that are made out of this plastic. That is what essentially has to tuck into, I'll show you if you've not seen it, a very small amount of space here is where these are supposed to go. So you can see no matter how you sort of line it up, it's, you know, what is it trying to clip into? There's not, in that space there, there's just a bit of dead space. There's no lip for them to sort of hook over. So what exactly are we asking it to do? It's very hard to see, and a bit, as I say, it's quite a frustration. So that for me is the thing that lets it down the most. Of course, all of these issues may be unique to my copy, and you may not have the same experience. So please let me know in the comments below if you have or have not had a similar experience with this, whether or not you're a fan of the translucent plastic, or whether you prefer the toon colorization of the windows, which would give us, you know, all-round windowage. And you know, what has been your experience of transforming Ironhide? As I say, I've not had the transformation itself and the engineering is great. It's just this final element where they all come together, and it could well be me. It could be human error on my part somewhere down the road. Before I go, I've just remembered that I haven't given you a look at the box. So here's the box art for Studio Series 86 number 17. It's Ironhide as mentioned. There he is on the front, being all Ironhidey with his blaster. Transformers, Ironhide on the side. This side we've got a more full body look at Ironhide. And on the back we have the product shots, where also you can store the guns on the top. I prefer to store them as exhausts, because I don't know many transit trucks like that would have blasters on the top and stayed in disguise, but that's just me being old-fashioned. Anyway, thank you very, very much for spending the last nigh on 20 minutes or so with me. I've been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector. This has been the ill-fitting Takara Tomy and Hasbro Studio Series 86 17, I think it is, yeah, 17 Ironhide from Transformers the movie. Do let me know as well in the comments what it is you're looking forward to seeing in future Studio Series 86 releases, as we get ever closer to completing that cast list, although there's still quite a few out there yet to be added. Thank you again, as I say, for spending some time with me. I appreciate your time. I know it's valuable. I very much look forward to seeing you in a future, or indeed a past video. You've been fantastic. This has been Ironhide, and all it remains for me to say is that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.